years, I guess. So, something like that. Oh, Lordy, it's like almost 30. But anyway, we've got boys coaches this morning to talk about their programs and look ahead at next week for Division 1, the district tournament schedule. Some of our Providence Christian in D2, they are still playing, and MTCS, their seasons have come to an end. In fact, MTCS coach Greg Eubanks resigned yesterday, and MTCS looking for a new basketball coach. They've got some great promise out there at MTCS, so we'll be talking this morning about that a bit, and also their cheer coach will join, and their cheer team just won nationals. So we'll talk about that with Brittany McCallum later on as we wrap up. But a lot to get to this morning, and let's take a quick look at your Jennings and Ayers Funeral Home scoreboard from last night. And in girls action, it was PCA defeating FRA 42-12, and Cookeville 51, Stewart's Creek 37, a 47-42 Laverne victory over Smyrna. Last night, Blackman 66, Siegel 21. It was a 50-30 win for Green Hill over the Oakland Patriots this week. And Rockvale 64, Riverdale 34. Eagleville last night fell in overtime to Fayetteville 45-41 down at Fayetteville. In boys last night, a big win for PCA, 67-29 over Columbia Academy. So both PCA squads are playing in the district championship game today. That's at FRA, I believe. So, let's see. Stewart's Creek 68. Cookeville beat Stewart's Creek in boys by 10, 78-68. It was Laverne defeating Smyrna 78-65. Blackman a 64-36 win over Siegel last night. Green Hill 59, Oakland 46, and Rockvale 77-51 over Riverdale. And the Eagleville Eagles defeat Fayetteville 81-17. So that is a look at your Jennings and Ayers Funeral Home scoreboard. I've got the first three this morning: Riverdale, Smyrna, Blackman between now and 9:45. Then John Dinkins will be on for Laverne, Oakland, Stewart's Creek, Rockvale between 9:45 and 10:45. And then Danny will wrap us up with Siegel, Eagleville, and MTCS Cougar Corner this morning on WGNS Murfreesboro, Smyrna, the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Do you love WGNS Radio? Well, now you can watch it too. WGNS Big G TV brings your favorite radio shows live and on demand. From breaking news and community talk to Rutherford County's top local sports. We've got it all right at your fingertips. Watch anytime, anywhere. WGNS Big G TV, where radio comes to life.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
We're back on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Parks Auction Company. Let their experienced team of professionally trained staff utilize the auction process and sell your property. Find out more at parksauction.com. We kick things off with Riverdale boys basketball. Michael Voss joins us here this morning, and Riverdale's had the leadoff spot for almost 30 years. That's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Has it been that long? I mean, I've been doing it 10. So.
Yeah. We've been doing this since early 90s. But good to have you here this morning. A lot to talk about. I know this is the time of the year that you play all of the regular season games for, is to get to the tournament time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what we've talked about, is it's a tournament sport, and it always has been. That's the one neat thing about it is it's a tournament sport. You play to set yourself up in the best position you possibly can for this time of year. And, we've got our bracket set. That's the one thing about it. We know who we can get to work on this afternoon. So it's one of those things where we're going to roll out Tuesday night, play Oakland, but we get to start working today instead of trying to figure out who we're playing and go from there.
When you were talking about that, it just brought up the old Z plan in football, and you didn't know, and crazy stuff, and but I thought we may have some coin flippage this year, but not the case.
Well, it got real close.
It did, didn't it?
We're going to have one coin flip on the girls' side, and that's only for a uniform, so it really, at the end of the day, everybody knows who they're playing right now, so the brackets for both are set. We can be good to go, and it's the best time of year from a basketball standpoint, because again, you spend all this time and this is what you're preparing for, and the difference in the regular season is important, but everybody knows basketball is a tournament sport, and it always has been, it always will be, and that's one of the things that makes it special.
The district, and I'm going too far down this road, but I'm going to go anyway. The district tournament with just a 5-team district, it's okay. I mean, it's fine. But then I think about next year, and it's going to be a 4-team district, and it's everybody goes. And
next year, there's some that we're going to have a meeting here in a few weeks to kind of figure out what we're going to do. I know with the way that Tilo Soleil has bracketed everything now, I've already talked to some of my buddies over in Wilco, and they're not going to have a district tournament next year.
Really?
They're going to go straight to the region because they've got a 5-team and a 4-team region, or 5-team and 4-team district over there. And whoever is in that 4-5 spot for the one district, they're going to have one play-in game, and that's going to be it. But they're going to base everything off of the regular season. We haven't sat down and talked about all that yet, what we want to do. But we'll get all that figured out here in the next few weeks. It's a little bit different. You're right, because the district tournament now really, you kind of look and we've pared everything down so much. The districts are so small, and what I don't understand about it, and I've never understood this, is we have a 4-team district. Laverne, Smyrna, Blackman, and Stewart's Creek is the other 4-team district, so we're an 8-team region, but there's still some 8-team districts. And it just doesn't, the way that it's divided, the way that it is, it just doesn't make sense right now. We're having to find, and that'll be another thing we talk about. Like, we
so many games.
We have 6 games that are for sure scheduled. We've talked with, as a region, that we're going to play each other once potentially.
So that adds 3 more.
It takes care of 4. So you got 10 games that you've got taken care of.
Out of how many?
You got to go out and find 15 more, and that's not easy to do because you always have this dynamic of there's some girls teams that don't want to play other girls teams, but you would love to play their guys team. Like it's just there's always that dynamic, and scheduling is difficult enough as it is, and now we're adding about twice as many games that we have to go out and find as what it is, and. That's something here in the spring we're really going to have to sit down and work at to figure out.
Well, and you're at a disadvantage being in a 4-team district where those 8-team districts aren't as disadvantaged.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, what the problem is sometimes finding those games in January and February when you want to be playing every Tuesday and Friday night. That's why we try to schedule. If we don't necessarily want to schedule it on the Friday night of a district team's playing, but we want to try and schedule a Thursday night game or a Saturday game so that we're playing in that slot and basically we can stay in our same routine. That's going to be a problem for us as a smaller district because all these other districts are going to be playing.
And they're not going to have
they don't need to find it. Like they don't have to find those games. I've talked to Jeremy over at Centennial. Me and him have talked about throwing out basically a Williamson County, Rutherford County shootout one weekend to try and maybe generate some games for each of us that way too. And kind of doing it like the Big Ten SEC Challenge, where you don't necessarily know who you're going to play until about halfway through your season, and make it a little bit interesting that way.
Sure.
Try and pair it up with the most evenly matched games we can find.
And it depends on the
there.
district scheduling too. It could be something that, maybe there's a week right before district play starts that you do something like that or something, kind of cool.
And that's the thing. Like this year, we started district play so late because, again, we've got a small number of teams. Like we didn't start playing district games. I think it was January the 14th.
Right.
We've played everything inside of a month. But that first week coming after Christmas, like we've always just jumped straight into district play that week. This year, we were trying to figure out, all right, who are we going to play? We ended up scheduling Clarksville Northeast and Giles County in 2 slots we've never had to fill before. And it's just the way the calendar was this year and scheduling those games, like it made it a little bit difficult for scheduling. It's going to make it real difficult next year.
Yeah, and everything is a week later this time around because I remember we tried to wrap up the tournament before President's Day the past couple of years, and now you start the day after President's Day, so everything's just like 1 week later.
Yeah, and I don't know why the calendar fell that way this year. Normally we start practice the Monday of the week of November the 1st. Well, November the 1st was on a Friday this year, and the TLSAA did not let us start practice until Monday, November the 4th. So we were already pushed back a little bit.
Yeah.
Normally we were starting a week before. But what else didn't make sense was you sit there and look up, and wrestling has the same start practice dates as we always have. Like it's always been that way. Well, this year wrestling started on October the 27th or whatever day it was. We didn't get to start until November the 4th. And I don't know the rhyme or reason to it. Like, again, that's way above my pay grade. I just know it's been a weird year as far as that goes, and I think next year's going to be about the same.
We're talking to Michael Voss this morning, the head coach of the Riverdale Warriors. You mentioned about the upcoming tournament too, Michael, and you kind of know where you're going to play now, and it's going to be Oakland again, so you're going to play them really in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, again, about small districts is you play everybody pretty quick anyway. Yeah. But, we played Oakland this week already, had a shootout. We shot the ball extremely well. We've kind of had a contrasting 2 games this week where you look at Oakland and we did a really good job of taking care of the basketball. We got some pretty good shots. We also had our highest assist total on the year. We had 21 assists, I think, on 30-something field goals. We shared the ball really well. We moved the ball really well. And got a lot of great shots, and we also had a bunch. We ran the floor really well the other night and got down the floor and made some easy buckets. And then, you look at last night, the turnovers were an unbelievably bad part of our night last night. We had 13 in the first half, and then we finished the game with well over 20, almost 30 turnovers. We did not do a good job last night of taking care of the ball, and some of that is Rockvale's athleticism and hands, and some of that was our decision-making last night that just, for whatever reason, when you're sitting there and looking, you have 2 or 3 games throughout the year where you go, what are we doing? And last night was one of those games for us. We really haven't had just a ton of those this year, even with the young team. And so, what we got to do is shake last night off and get back and understand we beat Oakland twice. That doesn't mean anything because it's tournament time. They're going to be really, really ready to go play this game, and we've got to be really ready too.
Well, speaking of, I wanted to mention this about Rockvale and the turnovers. Sometimes them forcing, their athleticism, their hands, like you mentioned, is part of it. But then you begin to overthink, and that's when you start to throw the ball away unforced sometimes.
It was a lot of unforced stuff last night. Like, it was just, it was one of those things where we just tried to force way too much stuff last night. You go back and watch the tape. I mean, it was just one of those nights. And again, what we got to do is bounce back from it, and we'll be all right.
beat Oakland by 3, and the first meeting was double overtime win for you, I think.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
and that's the thing. We've had double-digit leads in both games, and they hit a 3 with basically no time left to cut that cut that deficit the other night 2-3. So it was a 6-point game. We had a chance to we've had chances at times to blow it open, and one of the things that Dyron's done a really good job of in those games is he's gotten his guys kind of rallied when we were making runs, and then we had to answer. Both games they've had leads in the fourth quarter. The 2 overtime game, they had a lead. They had a lead in both overtimes, and one of the things about our guys that we did a really good job of in those is we were tough enough to overcome it and tough enough to just settle down, play good solid basketball, and we found ways to win both of those games. Well, it's going to be a fun week. You don't have to travel too far, just up to Rockvale, so and you just played there, so I guess it's good to have the you just started your tournament last night, I guess. Well, no, we were at our place last night. Oh, that's right. That's right. They're hosting the state tournament over
stuff,
there.
Yeah.
So
forgot all about that.
That's the other thing Wendell's got to deal with this week is you talk about. Hosting, that's great, but at the same time, it's taking away time from preparation and time for what you want to be doing at this time of year. Stuff like that, again, it's great, but it's hard to manage sometimes. And got to host the district meeting this morning and all that stuff. So yeah, well, you know how it is. We might as well just have that here. Well, whatever. Michael, appreciate you coming in this morning. Thanks, Brian. We'll see you next week. Michael Voss, the head coach of the Riverdale Warriors, on the Coach's Show, brought to you by J. Mullins Jewelry, a family-owned and operated business treating clients like family since 1938. Jewelry design, repair, and a wide selection of great jewelry pieces online at mullinsjewelry.com.
At Turner Security, we bring cutting-edge protection with live video monitoring, access control entry, advanced camera systems, and intermedia IP phones, all designed to keep your business safe and connected. From small businesses to large enterprises, our expert team ensures seamless integration and around-the-clock monitoring, because security isn't just a service, it's our mission. Turner Security, powered by TechCore.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
And this portion of the Coach's Show is brought to you by Sir Pizza, whose 3 Murfreesboro locations offer a huge selection of mouth-watering pizzas, sandwiches, pastas, and wings. You can order your favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. Omar Smith is our guest here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, the Smyrna Bulldogs head coach. And before we get into last night and kind of what's ahead here for the Bulldogs, I wanted to ask you, you have a lot of experience in terms of, you're a relatively young man, but you have been around? I mean, let me see. Were you at Blackman at one time?
I was at Blackman Middle for 3 years. I was at Rockville Middle for 8 years. 5 as the head coach. 2 as an assistant with the girls on the Coach Chestnut. I was at Whitworth Buchanan for 2 years. I was at Riverdale for 3 years. I remember this is my 21st year.
Oh, you're kidding me!
In the county, yeah, I'll be 45 in April. So
you've held up pretty well, Coach. I'll tell you. What I wanted to ask you about, you've worked under a lot of coaches, a lot of different coaches, a lot of different styles, and did you take a little bit from each one of them, or I mean, how does that kind of come around?
Yeah, I still have. I probably shouldn't say that. I still have Michael Voss's playbook from when I was over there.
Well, you just heard that. So
I still have Eric Moore's playbook from when I was at Blackman Middle 20 years ago.
Now I remember go back that far with Eric.
Yeah. So I take stuff from everybody. I always tell people. I tell my wife and tell my kids, the best teachers and the best coaches, we steal stuff from people who are better than us, and make it work for you. So.
And I know. You got the middle school experience, then you stayed with the high school for a few years, and like with Michael, I guess you were with Michael. Were you with Michael at Riverdale?
I was.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so, and he has the Barry Wortman, history. So I guess that's true. Everybody takes from everybody.
I've stolen some of Barry Wortman's plays. I've stolen some of Tony Rutland's plays. I've taken from everybody.
Well, right now, I've got you at 13-13, which I guess, give or take a win or two. I think I'm a little off on that, but but you have played the last 3 games. You won 86-53 over Knowledge Academy, then won a big win over Wilson Central, and by 9. And then you took on Laverne, and for a half, you were ahead in that ball game.
Yeah, we were up 8 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter last night, and then things shifted. Those guys. Battle tests have been in the state tournament. You can see they never panicked.
Yeah.
They got down 8. He called a timeout, and they just walked right back on the floor as if the game was tied or if they were winning. They just kept playing, and both teams were switching defenses, and I think they just did a better job of adjusting to our switching than we did to their switching.
They're a really talented defensive team, and you poured 65 on them. I mean, that had to make you feel pretty good about that.
They were giving up 52 a night coming into last night. I think they, I look at stats from everybody. I think between them and Blackman, those are the top 2 teams defensively as far as points allowed. They were giving up 52 a game, and we scored 65 on them. So, our thing is we can score. We've got to defend, and we're still trying to figure that out. And looking at the film, there's times where, we're standing around looking, and guys are standing under the basket wide open. We just got to stop getting lost on defense, and we'll be fine.
It is a team that's very talented, but their problem, I guess, from what you tell me sometimes, is knowing when to press on the gas and let's finish it. Yeah. Is that part of the problem?
I think so, and I think you got we are. I don't know how this keeps happening. We were young last year, and we're young again this year. Tyreek McCarver's our only senior who's scoring significant points. Jan Kins is a junior. Caden Matthews is a junior. Last night I had Zackees McCarver and Sequoia Weathers on the floor. Those are 2 sophomores. So, you think about our experience. And even with Matthews coming from Stewart's Creek, he didn't play a lot over at Stewart's Creek. So he's still very raw in that sense as well. So there's not a lot of experience on the floor for us. And so we're just having to grow up on the fly.
Yeah, it's in crunch times. And when you have a lead, I guess it's really hard for them to – and Danny, we were talking out before we had this interview, and Danny made a good point. It's kind of like, what did we do that got us up by 8, and why did we stop doing it? And it's so frustrating, isn't it?
That consistency and getting them to buy into that. Here's a crazy stat for you. We're actually 13-14. We played 27 games. We've had a second half lead, I think, in 24 of our 27 games.
Unbelievable. But it makes it, I think, for an interesting district tournament that's coming up, because you're a team that's, to me, if I were having to play you in the first round or second round or whatever, I would be a little nervous, because I think you're capable of doing a lot of damage in this thing.
We are, and I think, we know, and I think teams understand no lead is safe against us. I mean, you could say the same thing with us when we're leading, but I think teams understand is, you might be up 9-10 on us, but the game's not over with. Cookeville, we were down 13 Tuesday night, and we got right back in the game, no problem. We didn't blink. So I know that we can score in bunches, and I think teams know that, and so they're having to, a lot of times we've played teams where, I watched film, they've played 10 or 15 games, they've played all man, and they're coming against us and they're playing the zone because guys understand that we have so much talent on the floor that they're having to make adjustments.
It sounds like it's going to be a really tough district. I know Laverne 9-0, and then you've got Cookeville 7-3, then Stewart's Creek, and you have played all of those guys close or actually won to get the teams in front of you.
Even the 2 Stewart's Creek games, we lost by double digits. Yeah. We had second half leads in those games as well. So we know that we can play with anybody in the district. I think it's going to be a fun tournament. I think it's going to be very competitive. So, I mean, tell everybody to buckle up and get ready for the ride.
Well, in last night's game, Tyreek had 19. Jan Kinzer, I know a very promising junior. He's very impressive. I've seen him. And Sikori had 13. Jan had 14. Cade Matthews with 11. That's those youngsters that you're getting in there that are playing, and they're having valuable time and scoring.
Yes, Sikori, that's only the second game he started. So he's been coming off the bench for us. Our 5-man, Corey Daniels, was homesick last night, so he didn't get to play. And I don't think we missed a beat from that aspect. Obviously there's about a 4-inch height difference between the two, so that makes a difference. But Sikori probably had 7 or 8 rebounds playing the 5 at 6 foot tall. So the kid brings a lot of energy to the floor. So I'm really pleased and excited to see what he's going to do going forward.
Well, I want to talk about the district tournament. You're drawing Lebanon first round.
Yes. And
that will be at Lebanon, which kind of gives them a little advantage. But it's a great gymnasium, and it's a good, nice place to play. And Lebanon's been playing well.
They have.
So what adjustments do you think you'll have to make with them, or is it more just let's worry about Smyrna?
I think a little bit of both. I think coming into the season, we talk about guys like Avery Harris, who's one of the better players in our district. He wasn't playing as well at the beginning of the year when we played him the first time. We beat him double digits. He's played well over the last couple of weeks, so getting guys on him and slow him down. But like you said, I think the biggest thing is taking care of us. The next few days we're going to really focus on us. Defensive positioning, where we're supposed to be, matchups, boxing out and rebounding, and just doing those things. And then we'll slowly get into Lebanon and get ready to go.
And you've got a few days now to kind of regroup. And I think a lot of people would say, well, I don't really like that little layoff there, but it does help a young team, I think, doesn't it?
I actually love it. I think it gives us time to kind of reset a little bit,
heal up
a little bit, and kind of get back to some basics and work on some fundamentals. Where when you're going Tuesday, Friday, you're watching film. A lot of times you get some of that stuff gets lost. And so now having almost a week to prepare for Lebanon, we can work on us for a little bit and then turn around and prepare for Lebanon. It's not such a quick turnaround.
And I know the key, it will go home, win or go home, but that is a key in more than different ways, because if you can beat Lebanon, win this first game, that really has to help momentum and give them more confidence, because I think sometimes it might be a little confidence issue too.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're going to focus on them. We've talked about, a district championship in the region, but the big thing is, listen, we're just going to put all our eggs in this one basket and just focus on this one game and do everything in our power to make sure that we win that game. So then we can look at, all right, what does it look like to play in the region tournament, and how do we approach that?
I think, Omar, too, I don't know that people give your district enough credit in terms of it's loaded.
It is.
It really is.
It's great coaches. Every team. You look at Wilson Central, who's 1-9. They've got 2 kids on their team who can give you 20, 25 points easily.
Right.
So, everybody's got a couple kids that can really get after it, can play. So, it's a really good district. I think guys are battle tested. I've looked at Laverne's schedule. They played, I think, the 6th toughest schedule in the state. Cookeville goes to Florida every year. And, it's you're going to see guys that have been through that fire. And like I said, it's going to be very competitive.
Well, definitely good luck to you. I did want to ask one question, though. It was Valentine's Day yesterday, and you were coaching. Any plans to make up to your wife? Any kind of thing like that you didn't? Did you send her anything?
So we had a little Valentine's dinner Thursday. We got a sick kid at home, so it kind of put a damper on some things. But we'll probably go to Carrabba's tonight or tomorrow and take advantage of their Valentine's meal. And
so you're going to double. You're going to double it.
Oh, yeah.
You're husband of the year. Omar,
I'm married to wife of the year, so I gotta match her
amen.
energy.
Any coach's wife is tremendous.
Absolutely.
All right, Omar, I'm set you up for a really good weekend there. Okay,
I appreciate it.
Omar Smith, the head coach of the Smyrna Bulldogs, and he's traveling to Lebanon in the district tournament, taking on Lebanon. That'll be Thursday night.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And appreciate him being by. This portion of the show has been brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com. We'll be right back.
Do you love WGNS Radio? Well, now you can watch it too. WGNS Big GTV brings your favorite radio shows live and on demand. From breaking news and community talk to Rutherford County's top local sports. We've got it all right at your fingertips. Watch anytime, anywhere. WGNS Big GTV, where radio comes to life.
The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
And this portion of the show brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, Ron Reeves, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. John Dinkett's here with you, and my old friend. We are really old friends. We go back a long way. Barry Wortman, head coach of the Blackman Blaze, and Barry last night, a really big win over a tough Siegel team, and won it going away. But it was close, and it was nip and tuck through a half. But I thought your defense was tremendous last night.
We were good defensively. You know, they posed quite a bit of problems in terms of being able to put pressure on the rim, and the Carter Webb causes a lot of problems because he can score it at three different levels. He can offensive rebound it. He's a very willing passer, so he makes guys better. They got great presence at the goal and the offensive rebound it and good guard play around him. So they're a very, very good offensive team, and I was pleased with our ball screen coverage, and I was pleased with our tag coverage off the ball, and really been pleased with how we our first shot defense. We finished it with a rebound. That was pleasing, I thought, to get so much of our defensive philosophy into the game.
You doubled them on the boards, I think, last night. And I want to say something, too, that I noticed, and you can tell me if I'm wrong because I've been wrong many times, but you're kind of a tempo team. You know, you want to set the tempo. Last night, I thought you got out after a rebound, got out and really moved the ball down the floor and got some really good open looks with the threes.
Well, there's a real misconception about Blackman basketball. I think we play faster than anybody over the years. Now, this team the last couple of years hadn't been quite as fast, but you know, there's a real misconception. I mean, we averaged.
I don't know why that is.
Well,
but
we like I said, we had 14 running clocks in 2016, and then the 2018 team had 12 running clocks, and I remember we had 98 points with 3 minutes to go in the game, and I could tell the other coaches not want us to score 100, so we just.
Yeah.
We're up at 50 and decided not to do it. We will play really fast. I don't think there's a better first 6 team, meaning score it in the first 6 seconds, with the Isaiah Hart and the Donovan Sims teams and the Trent Gibson teams. And obviously Darius's teams were so fast in the first 6. So we want to score early, but at the same time, obviously want to run good offense and the better offense you run, the more apt you are to get the foul line, and the more apt you are to get offensive rebounds. And there is a discrepancy between like our team is uniquely built this year, and it's just their skill set. But certain guys can score it different ways, and you don't want them. We always say we want you shooting shots that you practice and you can make, and so that there puts a little bit of onus on the better teams you play getting the kind of shot you want. But really, the big key. And what people don't understand is we are very, very good. And it's one thing I will hang our hat on is we're really good in transition defense. And then we don't extend the floor too much because we just don't think you can beat the really good teams spacing the floor. And so people have a hard time scoring against us. And these teams are well coached and well schooled. So if you'll watch points per possession, I get a lot of other people's stats, and we're about 1.2 point of possession, which is really good in high school basketball. Get a point every 1.2 or 1.2 points per possession, but people's usage goes way down against us, and I'm talking about their usage, not ours. So they're not playing near as fast because they're not playing in transition, and they're so it really's got a lot more to do than our opponent than how we play.
I guess that's really a good point. And last night, I think one thing too, your turnovers were way down last night. I mean, it was a really well played game without Edie part of the game because of foul trouble. And Mike Bass picked it up, and Flowers picked it up. I just thought it was a really, really good team effort. Christian didn't have a point at halftime, but came in and poured in finally 10, and he made some big baskets when you needed him.
Yeah, we've been really balanced all year. We're really unique in that we have 2 dribblers, Braden and Flowers and Garrison Edie. And when I say dribblers, we don't like guys dribbling, but you got to have guys that can escape and dribble. And those guys do a lot of taking care of our basketball for us, which creates a lot of stress. And they've just done a phenomenal job the last 2 years, especially as much as we ask of our lead guard to run offense. So we pass and catch it really well, and guys are getting more experience. Our turnovers this year have really been playmaking turnovers, or we throw it on the post a lot more the last year and a half than we have in the past. So doubles and things can come, but just that unforced turnover, unskilled turnover, or inexperienced turnover, we've really taken that out of our game for the most part. So that's exciting to see. We played with our season high of turnovers at Rockville, and trust me, they had a lot to do with their quickness and athleticism. But when we're taking care of the ball, we're a pretty efficient basketball team.
I know the loss at Rockville. You were undefeated at the time. You're now 7-1. Rockville's coming in there at 6-2. Siegel 4-4. Riverdale 3-5. And Oakland, although they haven't won a district game, but I'm going to tell you, they're probably one of the tougher teams to play, and it's going to be an exciting district tournament, I would think.
It will be a exciting district tournament. That Rockville, man, they're just so tough-minded and tough and embrace playing the game. So just so impressed with their team and impressed with everybody's team. Like you said, everybody brings different things, but that was a team that just we didn't we watched it. We graded it as a staff, and our team watched the game, and we played really, and we did some things really well in that game. Now it wasn't on the offensive end, but they had a lot to do with it. They had a real lot to do with it, and we didn't. We don't like to lose games, but they won the game. They just beat us. They were the tougher team. They took us out of stuff. So things like, got to give them a lot of credit. And then we had a 10-point play where we had 2 times we had an opportunity to score in transition on really, obviously not breakaway layups, but nice layups, which we should have laid it in the goal. And both, anytime you miss a layup, your transition defense is compromised, and they got a 3-point play and a 3-point rhythm 3 in the corner. So we missed 4 points on breakaway layups, and then they get 6 all in about 8 seconds during the course of the game. And those were big plays in the game. But man, I'm just so impressed with their toughness and their fight, and their teams playing to their strength.
It should be an interesting district tournament. You go in, I don't know. I don't like to give out team records because I'm usually wrong, but 18 wins, close to 20. That's a pretty good season, and I think credit to that a lot to your seniors. I think that you have, and you had a tremendous senior night last night. I mean, it was really well done, I must say, down at school before the game started.
Well, Christy Covington and her staff are phenomenal in what they've done. She's has so much value added to our school and so many things that she does, and others. She has a great staff that support her, but our administration values those events for our student athletes and our cheerleaders and that experience, and the time that our youngsters put in, and our 4 seniors, man. And I told them last night, I said, one of the concerns I had of playing those guys as freshmen was not the inexperience as they're freshmen. It's just how hard it is to coach a kid for 4 years.
Yeah.
Because, there's a wear and tear mentally and physically. Not physically. There's a wear and tear mentally to being coached every day. And I told those guys, we were somewhere around 980 times together, where it was practice, walkthroughs, film sessions, summer program. And man, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time with anybody. But boy, I have to put up with my grading personality and me. It's tough. It really is tough.
I've never heard anybody say that, but I guess that would be true. 4 years,
no doubt. And that's really a concern. It's a hard deal.
Yeah.
And for those guys to stay committed and invested and handle the. I always say that the thing that makes high school basketball and athletics so good is the challenges and the tough times that you go through. Because a lot of times you run the flag up the pole, and you can't do that. Things are going to come at us. Health and family and marriages. So it sounds a little corny, but it's true. And those guys have really persevered. They've all had great moments, and they've all had challenging moments. And they've just stood there and hung the course. And I read somewhere not long ago where only about 3% of kids that pick up a ball ever play as high school seniors, 3 or 4%, and that's amazing. Now they're talking about in kindergarten probably, but the stay the course and the way those guys did it, and they're at 72 wins and counting. We've had a lot of good guys that go through our program.
You think how many games they played together?
That's right,
and then before they got to high school too, probably.
Well, I'm just so pleased with what they've done for our program the last 4 years, and they mean so much to us. And I thought. Mike Bass and Braden Flowers last night were just so good, but I think the culture of the program and what those guys said allowed those guys who've both been through some frustrating times and ups and downs like y'all do, and with Mike and his injuries, and Braden we asked so much of him that I just thought the culture and of our program that those guys has continued on has been so important to our program.
And Mike looks like he's so glad just to be out there. I mean.
At Mike Bass and Braden Flowers and all of our guys, I hate to bring up names, but those Mikes that handle so much with injury, and Braden just, when I have a great player, I see a great player, and Donovan Sims comes to mind, I just challenge them so much, I want them to be at their very best, and I think that's the ultimate compliment, to push the Edie's and the Flowers and these guys but that can be grating and tough and frustrating. So, we're always trying to make sure our guys leave there as good as they can be.
Well, you get a chance to you're going to be at Rockville. District tournament starts next week, and I know you're always going to be worried about Blackman. They're not worried about necessarily who you play until it's time to. But your first game, you'll get a kind of a bye, I guess, sort of. But then you'll play what? What's your first game on the district?
I'm sure I'm 99% sure, but I'm embarrassed to say until I get to that meeting today. We've been so focused.
That's what I thought. Okay,
but I do know we'll play. I feel like we'll play the winner of the Riverdale Oakland game, and both obviously present some challenges.
Barry, I'd be remiss if I hate to bring it up because I hate to give him any credit, but Scott Lawless is one of the best ADs around, and I'm just going to tell it right now on the air. But I'll deny it if you see him, but he does such a good job. He's there. He's like with you guys every step of the way. Away games, it doesn't matter.
Well, he opened that school. Him and Kevin as a basketball staff, and then he's just his daughters have gone through there, and he just has such a pride and passion for that place to be special, and just a good God-fearing man that loves people and loves kids and wants the best out of them. So he's somebody I really look up to and lean on and respect. So I just have what he does day in doubt for our students is in that building is amazing.
Well, that's the nicest thing I'll ever say about him. But no, I really appreciate what he does for us and WGNS. And Barry, I got to let you go. It seemed like it goes by fast, but good luck next week.
Appreciate you.
All right, Barry Wortman, head coach of the Blackman Blaze. And when we come back, we are talking Laverne basketball here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. This portion brought to you by Idiz Tees, who'll be happy to help you fulfill all of your imprinted apparel, embroidery, and advertising specialty needs. Find out more at idiztees.com.
At Turner Security, we bring cutting-edge protection with live video monitoring, access control entry, advanced camera systems, and intermedia IP phones, all designed to keep your business safe and connected. From small businesses to large enterprises, our expert team ensures seamless integration and around-the-clock monitoring, because security isn't just a service, it's our mission. Turner Security, powered by TechCore.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
And this portion of the show brought to you by Bowen's Body Shop. From dings and dents to full body work, trust Jeff and Cal Bowen to do the job right. They're located on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Tony Rutland joins me, the head coach of the Laverne Wolverines, and talking about dings and dents. But this time of year, everybody's got a few of them, don't they?
Yeah. Lucky for us, it's just minor dents and bruises, but the guys are really taking care of their body, and we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, doing more than pretty good. I think I kind of tried to count up. I think it's like 13 or 14 in a row or something like that, and that's pretty amazing to go through that and not have what you'd call a bad game. You played a really talented Smyrna team last night, and they were up, and you persevered and came out and actually won that by, I think, 11 or something like that.
Yeah, when we were on this win streak, I asked one of my assistants, I said, what do we do? Do we try to lose one so the guys can stay level-headed?
Mm-hmm.
And, he told me something that, Rick Pitino talked about when, his teams would go on a win streak or they would lose. You consult them, then you go back to film, and then you learn from your mistakes. But then when you're winning, you got to be harder on them. Nothing is right, to make sure that, they stay level-headed and stay hungry, and that's what we've been doing. With our schedule that we had in the beginning of the year, we were able to be battle-tested, and I think when we go through ups and downs and we're down in a game, we never panic, and that's one of the things that I really compliment my guys on, is they never panic. I'm never panicking because I've seen them go through things like this before, and we find a way to win. So I take the win. I'm not happy with the win sometimes, but we do adjust, and we make do with what we have.
Did the run last year help in that kind of situation too? Because you said before that they've been through some things, but that run was pretty incredible, and you got stopped by a team that eventually did it all. But does that help in that aspect about there are going to be ups and downs during the course of a game?
Yeah, I mean it does. Everybody pretty much who's playing now, I think we're deeper on the bench. We have guys who are stepping up. Last night, all my bigs pretty much scored like 8 points, 10 here and there, and it helped Landon and Sherman out. But they've been through last year playing Cookeville 4 times and playing everybody else. But, it's just a schedule. Mm-hmm. I hate to say it, but we've always been the underdog. I don't think we get the media attention that, other teams get. But, I use that for motivation. I put that on the billboard. If, we've been in the top teams in Rutherford County for the last 2 years. I looked at it, and, I talked to Landon. I mean, he was a senior with senior night, and I think his record against Rutherford County teams in 4 years is 26-8.
Wow.
And against Murfreesboro teams, he's 17-4.
Yeah.
So, you take that. It's not too many teams that can do that and say that we've done that in 4 years. And so that's a contest to them and working hard. But, again, we never get the pub. I think it's just still a football state and county. But to win 13 games, and I think it was the first time in school history that we go undefeated in the district.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that. That's hard in itself to do.
It is. When you think you can go undefeated, you don't. But, we have a lot of good teams. And, Lebanon, I think they're on a 3-game win streak. They're a veteran team too, and that's the Lebanon that we've been waiting for from the beginning of the year. Smyrna is young, but they really have a lot of good athletes. Every team that we've played this year has come at us, and we've stuck with the battle, and we've come on top.
You're sitting there at the top, so everybody wants to pick you off, and coming up in this district tournament that's going to be part of it. It's going to be played in Lebanon, which I don't know if that. I don't put too much stock in tournament having the home team, but I'm sure it helps a little bit. But you look down the road here, Stewart's Creek is tough, Smyrna's tough, Lebanon's playing much better, and I don't know anything about Wilson Central, but it to go undefeated do that, and now to have to face it again in the tournament, it's going to be tough, and you guys, I think you guys realize that.
Yeah, I mean, our saying is a marathon, not a sprint. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Any team that is very successful, and when I had teams that were down, I always go back to the UConn team that won the national championship. They were the 8th seed, the last seed in the Big East, and they end up winning the national championship. And so it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I've always wanted our guys to start playing well when it comes to coming in February, in the beginning of February, and we've done that. And January started and we started playing well. We take many goals. It's 0-0. We try to win 2-0 every week. And now the district tournament is everybody's 0-0. And so if we can go out and win a couple of games, we're 2-0 or 3-0 in the district tournament, then we'll go from there. But our goal is now where everybody is 0-0, and we got to take it like it's a new season.
And I've always talked about dividing the season up into 3 sections. You've got I call the preseason, then the regular season, then the postseason. Your schedule was so tough in the preseason, and that to me I think has helped them along the way too, because there's not anybody they haven't played that is not tough.
Yeah, we played a lot. I mean, you're talking about the number 1 player in the state of Tennessee, and Christian Brown. We played them twice. We split with them. We lost to them by 4 at their place, and then beat them at Riverdale's Classic by like 9 or something like that. But we played Independence, who was a champion last year, and so we played Brentwood. We played all the teams that we feel like are great teams throughout the state. But that's what we want to do. If we want to be the best in the state, you have to play some of the top teams in the state and see where you compare yourself. A lot of these guys, they always see social media and other teams playing on TV and not playing on TV. And, when you go against those teams, this is your time to shine.
Yeah.
And so, I don't want to hear anything in the locker room of, oh, I'm better than them or whatever, and you get your opportunity. That's why we play those games.
I think the underdog mentality a little bit helps them too. I mean, because they don't get the pub that some other teams do, but that's kind of a motivating force, I would think, a little bit for them.
It is, and I think Landon again has had a great career at Laverne. You go back to sophomore year, winning district tournament MVP. Last year, being all-state, all-region, again, first-team district, and this year, having the season he's having, he just haven't had the pub that the other counties, where it's Williamson County or Metro, where they're pubbing, different players every night and, after every game. But, again, I think that hurt him a little bit with Mr. Basketball, but his numbers has gone up every year, and he's been a big part of our success and laying the foundation at Laverne.
Steve Sherman, and I really like Cam Samuel a lot.
Yes.
Good defensive player and smart kid.
Man, he's our glue guy. He's our quiet MVP. Defensively, offensively, whatever you need to do, he's going to do it. He'll guard the best player. He jumps out the gym. He'll get every rebound. He's just so calm, and he doesn't back down from nothing. And he can go 40 minutes. He'll run 100 miles per hour if he could.
It's really an amazing streak that you've got going here, and we hope it continues for about another 2, 3, 4 weeks maybe. I guess.
Hope so. Again, we're going to stay on our guys. We're going to come back and pray that we stay healthy. And we're getting Tarski Jones back. He had an injury, and he's starting to play better, get back into game shape. So, hey, when these guys start to come together, hopefully we'll get on a good run again.
You had a great run last year, and maybe you can get another one this year and take it,
Yes, I hope so.
Hey, tell me a little bit about senior night because it was really special. And, boy, you all had a food spread. I'm a little jealous. Danny Brewer got to eat up there. And y'all did us really right when you had district played out there and we were there. But you guys do it up right there. And it was a really special night.
It was. I think, again, Landon Bryant, I believe he's over 1,500, points for his career. We had Jason Emile, who had a great game. I believe he had 8 points, 9 points last night for his senior night. So we had Cam Samuels again and Evan Hussey, who's been another role player. He's the one that, taked on a role where, hey, it doesn't matter if he scores or not. He's just going to try to play defense and do all the dirty things that, a lot of guys don't want to do. So I'm very proud of the seniors, man. They went out, they won against a great Smyrna team, and, we didn't give in because Smyrna came out punching, and, we was able to take those and counter and come up on top.
You look at your scores defensively, 65 is a lot of points to score against you. Smyrna did that, but the rest of you got 45, 53, 34. You guys really pride yourself on the defense.
Yeah, and, I feel like it's not the best yet, but we are doing really well defensively, and that's the main thing that we're trying to get in practice is defense. And, we're able to change our defenses a lot. We're trying to put in a lot of defenses. And, I told guys, if we want to become a good team, I should be able to draw up something and execute it. And, we're starting to do that. Even if they haven't seen it before or run it before, if I draw it up, we execute, it will make a difference. And we did that last night. We changed the defense. They were up 8. We went to a 1-3-1. We had a big lineup, was able to get some steals. Took the lead right before the fourth quarter, and from there it was just us.
It's been a great year. Hope it continues, Coach. And
appreciate it.
When Dalton comes in, that means it's our time is up. But
yes.
But appreciate you being here and good to talking to you. I'm glad I got to finally talk to you this year.
For sure.
Tough Laverne Wolverines. All right, coming up we've got Oakland, but first I got to tell you about our show being brought to you by Dan France Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete. We'll be back with Oakland.
Do you love WGNS Radio? Well, now you can watch it too. WGNS Big GTV brings your favorite radio shows live and on demand. From breaking news and community talk to Rutherford County's top local sports. We've got it all right at your fingertips. Watch anytime, anywhere. WGNS Big GTV, where radio comes to life.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
And this portion of the Coach's Show brought to you by the law offices of John Day, providing superior legal representation to injury victims and their families. Find out more at johndaylegal.com. Joining me here on the show is Oakland head coach Dyron Why do I call him Dyron Bagwell?
I don't know.
Why did I do that?
I don't know. Maybe I related to Jeff.
Birdwell.
Majors.
It's a bird, not a bag. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
But Dyron, it's I want to tell you, I've said this many times during the season. I know the wins haven't come like they should, but gosh, you've been in nearly every game, and we were counting up. I think like there's 6 losses in there, or 7, but 2 overtimes and nothing more than 5 points. I know that's got to be frustrating. Release it. Here we go.
It definitely has. You know, I'd be lying if I haven't done the math. We led wire to wire in 4 games this year. We trailed for at least the entire fourth quarter, and I think it's ended up being 9 games this year, but in 2 of those 9, last night against Green Hill, we're down 2 points to start the fourth quarter. Against Memphis Business in December, we're down 4 with 2 minutes to go. But we didn't have a lead or tied in those quarters. But then I think the other 13 games, we've been tied or had a lead in the fourth quarter or overtime, and we're 4-9. And 2 of those 4 wins came the first 2 games of the year against Tullahoma and Columbia. We've been right there, like you said. It's definitely been frustrating, you know, to try to find a way to win a game. You know, we've been right there. It's like we got to get a stop, and we either can't get the rebound or can't get the stop, or offensively we don't execute, or we can't make the play. And then, you know, to your point, we've lost 3 games in overtime, 1 in single overtime, 2 in double overtime. It's been one of those nightmare years, and, you know, you feel like maybe – postseason, it would even out a little bit here, maybe, and we could wake up from the nightmare. But, you know, that's going to be on us. We got to come out ready to play Tuesday night against Riverdale and give ourselves a chance. You know, it's definitely been a tough year. I hate it for our seniors, but hopefully these other guys that are in the program see how close we are, and maybe that'll make them want to stay in the gym, you know, 20, 30 minutes more every day in the off season whenever that happens.
Well, you did have a win over Mount Juliet, and I've kind of felt like that win was going to be something to kind of spur you guys. You know, I keep looking, and maybe you do too, you're looking for that one thing that, you know, is missing, and boom, it's going to click. And then you had a tough loss against Riverdale. I mean, they shot lights out, but you guys did too.
Yeah.
That was a really good game to watch.
I thought we both played well offensively and both set the game back defensively. But you know, when me and Coach Voss talked, you know, they both shot it well. And, you know, right now when you're struggling, you feel like teams see the Oakland uniform and they get a little more confidence because they're playing, because, you know, this is when we can win. And I thought that, you know, Riverdale came out with a lot of confidence and made a couple shots early, and we were so bad in transition defense, and they took advantage of that and really made us work. But, you know, Yeshai Cobb's played really well. I think he's been in double figures our last 4 games. Started at Blackman, and then he played well, had 20 at Mount Juliet in our win, and then played really well against Riverdale the other night, and then last night I think he had 19 again. But we're right there. It's just, you know, you gotta, like last night we're right there, but we score 5 points in the fourth quarter. Tuesday night we're right there, but we give up 86. You know, and it's like, if we could mesh those teams together, I think we could maybe go on a little bit of a run. But it's my job and it's the kids' job to right now mesh those 2 teams and ready to play on Tuesday.
It's I guess the word is inconsistent, I guess you'd say. But those long scoring droughts, and sometimes is it shot selection maybe too? Yeah,
I do think some of it is that. I also think some of it is we're not very big and we don't have much of an inside presence to stop a run or to just go get one. So every shot has either got to be a, you know, almost a contested shot or a 3 unless I draw up the perfect play. And right now that's, you know, kind of where we have our inconsistencies. You know, I I told our kids of our starting 5, all 5 of them have scored over 20 points in a game this year, but they've all 5 also scored 3 points or less in a game this year. So it's very hard to know what you're getting each night when you're kind of up one night and down the next.
Well, Malcolm, Ashley's not a big kid, but he's kind of your inside guy, I guess.
He is.
And but it's really tough because he's playing guys that are taller than him a lot of times.
He is, and Malcolm's played a lot better the second half of the year, especially in district play. I thought he played bad, and he admitted the first 2 or 3 district games, and then he has like 3 straight double-doubles at Riverdale versus Rockville and versus Siegel. He has double-doubles, and then he played well Tuesday against Riverdale, came down and rolled his ankle and wasn't able to play last night, but which I hate for it being his senior night, and he's kind of had a career of injuries, but hopefully we could get him back on Tuesday. I know he's working, he's trying, and hopefully we can get him back sooner than later and have a chance to compete, Tuesday night against Riverdale at Rockville.
Darren Birdwell's our guest here on the Prentice Also Heating Air Coaches Corner. Effort is there, though. I mean, I see it every the 3 or 4 games that we've done. They don't give up, and that's why you can't count them out. They might be down by 9, and then the next thing you know, a little spurt, and they're right back in it. And I think that's what's made the losses so tight and close, because they get themselves behind, but they get back in the game. I mean, they just never quit.
Yeah, when I took the job at Siegel 9 years ago, the first thing that I said was that I don't want to coach effort and attitude. Now, obviously you have to do that a little bit, and you have to do that in high school. But when you're not having to coach effort and attitude, you can coach basketball, and try to get yourself ready to go. And we've had some attitude problems at times this year, which has hurt us. Effort has normally been there. I didn't think it was there Tuesday night in transition, but we battled, man. You're exactly right. I've been proud of their effort. I've been proud of how close we've got, but at some point you would like to get over the hump and move forward and maybe get a win or 2 that you maybe shouldn't get, or that maybe your effort leads to something a little bit better. But right now it's just led to us being right there, but can't make that game-winning play.
And I guess, and I hate to harp on it, but the consistency part of it is really the key, because they don't just. It's not like they don't hold on to leads, but they don't. Sometimes they have to catch up to get to a lead, and then they can't hold on to it. Is that kind of make sense?
we've done a little bit of everything this year. You're right. We've had leads, and another team come back and can't find a way. We've had a lead, we've blown it, we've came back, we've lost it, we've got it again, and then still found a way to lose. And then like you said, there's been a lot of games, especially Tuesday night against Riverdale, where we get down. We played first time we played Riverdale, we're down 15 in the second half, and come back and send it into double overtime. We're down, I think it got to 10 or 11 in the second half Tuesday night. We go on a run, take a 2-point lead twice with the ball. But both times when we had the ball up 2, we turned it over, which led to a layup or a wide-open 3 for them. And that's hard. You'd rather throw it into the 4th row and at least be able to get back on defense versus having a live ball turnover and allowing them to go down and score. But like you said, the effort's been there. I wish, hopefully, we could start a little better, maybe, and maybe take a lead into halftime. And I'd like to play with a lead a little bit more. Kind of see what happens.
You're playing a little banged up too right now. And I saw Wiley limping the other day after his great game at Riverdale.
He did. He came down a little bit about 3 or 4 minutes ago and rolled his ankle. He played last night. He wasn't 100%, but he battled, and I think he only had 2 points, had to take care of the ball, and Green Hill's going to pressure you full court, and he had to worry about that. But he's not at 100%, but hopefully by Tuesday he will be. And then we didn't have Ashley, and then missing a couple starters, and we've got senior night last night, so you start a different lineup. Not that that's a bad thing, because those guys played well. Landon Jarrett last night I think had 6 points for us, and Chase Bandy had 8, and we just needed a little bit more there, especially in the 4th quarter, because it felt like the whole game was in like a 4-point window up until we went into the 4th and just couldn't score last night.
And it's tough when you got a couple of scorers out. I mean, you usually have 15 from Wiley, and that's not there, but due to injury. Let's talk about the district tournament before I let you go today. I look at it as kind of you've got Blackman and Rockville that are playing really well right now, and Siegel's got some injury issues. Riverdale play is always tough. You've played them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of those kind of toss-up kind of districts, which it seems like it is every year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to look at it from our perspective, we've not won a game in the league, but 6 of our 8 losses have been by single digits. 5 of our 8 losses have been by 2 possessions or less. I think Riverdale we lost by 4 in double overtime, and 3 we lost to Siegel by 8 and 5 in overtime. We lost Blackman by 1, and then they kind of wore us out at their place, and then Rockville wore us out at our place, and then we go there and we've got a lead in the fourth quarter and we lose by 5. So, it's definitely our guys should have confidence that we can play with everybody, but you also haven't beaten anybody, so you're kind of in that limbo. But no, I mean, if you played this district tournament 10 times, you may have a different winner, 4 or 5, 5 times, since everybody may get it once, but you got to come out ready to play. You got to give yourself a chance. You've really got to defend in our league, and you got to go do the little things. You got to defend. You got to rebound. You can't take bad shots. You can't turn it over and give up possessions or turnovers that lead to layups for the other team. But definitely a big opportunity for us on Tuesday, and hopefully we can keep the season going and have a shot at Blackman, I guess, on Thursday.
Few days to heal up. One last question, I guess. Tennessee, Vanderbilt. Tennessee going to put a whooping on them tonight?
I think Tennessee should play upset today anyway after kind of blowing that game while we were playing against Kentucky. They just need seems to me like they're kind of like us when they need a little consistency, but they need a little more consistency offensively if they want to try to battle for a 1 seed or a 2 seed coming down the stretch here.
You heard it first. You didn't answer my question.
I do think Tennessee wins. I do.
That's what I thought.
I do. With it being at home. If it was at Vanderbilt, obviously they've already beat us there.
It might be bad. Vanderbilt doesn't play well on the road, evidently.
Yeah, who knows?
But I'm glad they're both doing well. That's always a good thing. I want to say Bagwell. So why am I doing?
I don't know.
Darren Birdwell has been our guest here at Oakland for the Oakland Patriots, and this portion of the show brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity. Online at mte.com. Brian will be back next.
Do you love WGNS Radio? Well, now you can watch it too. WGNS Big GTV brings your favorite radio shows live and on demand. From breaking news and community talk to Rutherford County's top local sports. We've got it all right at your fingertips. Watch anytime, anywhere. WGNS Big GTV, where radio comes to life.
Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
We're back here on the Coaches Show, and it is brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity. Online at mte.com. Let's talk some Stewart's Creek boys basketball this morning. The head coach, Adam Jones, joins us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Brian. How are we doing?
Doing good, doing good. You made the you had a tough trek this week, man. I tell you, Lebanon and Cookeville both, right?
Yes, yeah, we sure did. Started with Laverne first, and then we went to Lebanon and didn't play as well as we wanted to, and then Cookeville last night. Obviously, playing there is always tough. We fired a shot, but came up a little bit short.
Well, I think that weeks like you just experienced, I know it's tough. If you had your druthers, you probably would not play that particular stretch. Mm-hmm. Different years, maybe it's a different story, but you had to play the upper echelon of your entire district. But I think that's the whole district up and down anyway. But
yeah, it really is.
My point about that is that does nothing but get you ready for the second season that's about to start next week.
Yeah, it does. Obviously, we had different goals going into district where we wanted to finish, so we didn't really meet that goal. But our district is tough, and you got to play who you play, and we were definitely home heavy on the front end, so that got us off to a good start, and then finishing on the road for 2 games. It's difficult in this league, but I mean, we always go in and expect to win. But yeah, we told the kids, this time of the year right now, it's everyone kind of controls their own destiny. You can't worry about what others are doing. We just got to show up and beat the teams that are in front of us.
Most certainly. So last night, I've got my score sheet all miscombobulated here, but last night it was a 78-68 loss at Cookeville. Was that an overtime game?
It was an overtime game, yeah. We got off to a pretty of a bad start. I mean, the last 3 games we're struggling with a quarter, and it's usually kind of in the first half, and then we're kind of clawing our way back from there. But we clawed our way back and hit kind of a lucky shot at the buzzer, to be honest, to send it in overtime, and then Cookeville just kind of played a little bit better than we did in overtime up there.
Well, you hear about a tough place to play, and
mm-hmm.
It's a kind of it's a little bit of a road trip and that kind of thing, and so when you go on the road, coaches I know like to sneak one on the road every now and then.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot to be said about playing in someone else's gym and the environment, and they get their student body out and things like that. So what was the atmosphere like in Cookeville?
It was incredible. Both Lebanon and Cookeville. It was both their senior nights. So we gave them each a win on their senior night, so they can thank us for that. But it was great. It's a different type gym. It doesn't look as packed as it is, but when the crowd gets going, I mean, the way it echoes, it is loud. And our kids handled it well. Like I said, we got down 10-0 right off the gate. But we clawed our way back, and we had a chance in overtime. We just kind of laid an egg in overtime. But credit to Cookeville for that too. But all this just gets you ready for next week and go fire a shot in district tournament time.
So where does this put you come district tournament next week in terms of seed?
So we'll be 3. So I think that works. We'll play the 6th seed on Thursday at 7:30. Well, hoping we play on Thursday, weather permitting.
Yeah, that's a whole different animal, isn't it?
Yeah. So we'll have to see what that looks like and figure it out. But like I said, it doesn't matter kind of right now what your seed is, and you just got to go show up, and you got to win the teams, beat the teams that are in front of you.
So let's see, 3-6 and then 4-5 will play, and that would mean that you would play the 2 seed if you are to win, and there's always pressure. I guess 1 and 2 got buys if I remember right.
Yes, 1 and 2 got a bye. Yeah,
okay.
That's why. Last night was a pretty big game for us because the winner of that got the 2 seed. So Cookeville will be the 2 seed. We'll be the 3.
And the district season kind of happens so quick, and you play through, and then all of a sudden you may play a team that you just played last week, in the district tournament, and hopefully that's the case for you guys. So that means you would play Wilson Central Thursday. Is that right?
Yes, I believe that is correct.
Yeah.
It's the tournament. It comes quick, and then you're right back to playing a team for the third time. And if you're lucky enough to move on to region, heck, you could play a team 4 times, before you can get to sectionals and all that.
We're talking with Adam Jones, the head coach of the Stewart's Creek Redhawks. Just a few of the scores here for you. 59-53 loss to Laverne. Very, very close game. And then the Cookeville game last night, of course, it was an overtime game. So, and then, it was another nail-biter that you had with Lebanon, 73-69. So you've been in some 1-2 possession games here of late.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it's us in the first half, whether it's the first quarter or second quarter, where we just kind of lose our minds a little bit, and that puts us in a hole. And our kids do a really good job. They don't ever quit of digging out of that hole. But I mean, last 3 games, that hole's been a little bit just too big to come out of. But we're right there at the end, so we got to do a better job of putting 4 quarters together. I'm sure as everyone needs to. And, if we can keep working on that and do that, we'll have a chance to be successful moving forward.
Well, let me talk about some of the players on your squad. In the Laverne game, Sean Goggins had 23 points for you. And then it was Dez in the Lebanon loss who had 26. And last night poured in 25. So and Sean had 12. So you're getting some good performance out of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, those are obviously everyone knows those are our 2 main scorers. And Micah Shaw had a good game last night. He had 15, 16, something like that.
Yeah, I had him at 17. So
17, okay, which is always good.
Yeah.
He's kind of our stat filler. But if he can score in double digits, that usually means we've won the game. But unfortunately, Cookeville, kind of got us offensively, definitely in the first quarter, to where it's tough to come back. But I mean, our guys are playing hard. They're playing well, and we have a good surrounding cast that needs to help score a little bit more and kind of take that off of Dez and Sean's shoulders a little bit.
Yeah, Cam has been kind of playing and filling a good role for you too, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, and he was doing extremely well offensively earlier in the year, and then he went down and fractured his wrist a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's back playing, but he's struggling kind of with his shot because it's a shooting wrist. We're going to keep working on it because we need him to step in and score a little bit. But he's done a good job defensively and rebounding when he goes out there. But he's still trying to get back to where he was.
Well, Adam, now that the regular season is done, how do you approach that with your guys? Because it's like, okay, all of this work was to get us to this point, and basketball is a tournament sport. I guess all those cliches, you're 0-0 and all that. But
exactly.
how do you mentally get your guys ready to play through what is always a gauntlet? Because high school basketball being a tournament sport, and your very first game is a must-win.
Yeah, exactly. And I used one of those cliches last night. Obviously no one ever wants to end district on a 3-game losing streak, but, it's not like we're playing terrible at the end of the year. We're right there. And that's kind of what I told them. It is 0-0 now going in. I mean, it's a whole new season. We completely start back over no matter what happens. And you just got to show up. You got to win. And like you said, I mean, Thursday's a win or go home. We wanted that bye, but we didn't get it. So, and it's part of that. I told them in tournament time, it's almost better to play earlier. If you can get that first win, and then you kind of get some momentum, you got to get the second win, try for the third, and so forth.
Well, Coach, I know it's going to be fun. The district tournament, your district tournament's at Lebanon, and if get a win, get into that Final Four of the district. The region tournament is in Lebanon as well, so you're going to see that gym quite a bit.
Yep, absolutely. And last time we were there, we shot it extremely poorly. So hopefully we can get over that hump and figure that out.
Maybe that's the one. And now it's one, and now it's going to be like a new home floor, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, your name last week was invoked on MTCS Cougar Corner. Did you know that?
Oh, I did know that. I sure did.
So how is it to be in a household and you're going 2 different directions and the amount of games that Hannah's had to play in a short time, and 3 games in a week. And do you ever see each other?
Yeah, not really. She, their schedule's a little different. Yeah, they'll have 3 games in a week sometimes, and it's kind of, we do a lot of eating out because we don't know when it has time to cook, but we find our time. We're used to it. We have date nights on Wednesday, and those date nights during the season are we sit and watch film with each other.
Oh, wow.
So that's the time we spend together. But
you're such a hopeless romantic.
Yeah, right. And Valentine's Day yesterday, I'm in Cookeville. No, but it's, we've been doing it long enough that it's kind of just part of the deal. And in the off season, we get the time together, but we understand how it works and we make it work.
Well, I'm sure that it's also an opportunity to bounce things off of each other, and spouses are confidants and all that. So, share in each other's struggles and successes, huh?
Yeah, 100%. We talk a little bit, but we try to keep it, don't bring too much of it home.
Sure.
Because when we're home, we just kind of want to, watch our film. Once we get done with that, just live kind of a normal life after that. But we'll definitely talk about some things here and there, but we try to keep most of that at work.
We've often talked about having a coach's spouse show, and we've never done that, but that would be interesting, especially with husband and wife coaching team. So.
Oh, 100%. And Hannah will be thrilled that you brought her up in this interview, so I'll make sure to tell her.
Well, we certainly appreciate everything that she does and what you do. And Coach, good luck with the Red Hawks in the district tournament next week. We hope for good things for you.
Well, I appreciate it. Yep. I look forward to it moving forward and see what we can do.
Sounds good, Adam. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian.
The head coach of the Stewarts Creek Red Hawks, Adam Jones, joining us on the Coaches Show, and this segment brought to you by First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. If you're looking for a hometown feel with your bank, turn to First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, offering full-service banking and mortgage services.
At Turner Security, we bring cutting-edge protection with live video monitoring, access control entry, advanced camera systems, and intermedia IP phones, all designed to keep your business safe and connected. From small businesses to large enterprises, our expert team ensures seamless integration and around-the-clock monitoring, because security isn't just a service, it's our mission. Turner Security, powered by TechCore.
The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by the law offices of John Day. They've helped thousands of people get legal help when they've needed it the most. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day. I hope our next guest never needs an attorney. Wendell Ingram, the head coach of the Rockville Rockets. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys.
Oh, you have got quite a bit going on at the Rock this week.
We do. Right now, I'm standing out in the rain. I'm under the umbrella a little bit now. We're hosting the middle school state championship today,
You mean they won't let you inside?
They won't. They said I got to do parking.
Oh, goodness. That's kind of a cool event. Has it been at Rockville for a few years now?
Yeah, this is year 3 for Rockville, man. It's great. It's great for the program. It does a lot, and it keeps us on the map a little bit. A lot of people never heard of Rockville until they come up here and they see that we got a Dollar General next to us and a gas station a mile away, and they kind of feel bad for us. So.
Well, maybe there's some new shopping and restaurants coming and all that
it's
stuff.
Definitely coming.
Yeah, it's also cool that the center of the middle school universe comes to your school to play, and it's like the Murphy Center for middle school.
Yes, definitely is. That's something great. I think at Stewart's Creek High School as well.
Yeah.
So we try to do it to where you got access to the interstate and hotels and stuff like that.
Well, and the fact that it's held here in Middle Tennessee, and I think it's really cool what we're able to do for the middle school athletes, because some of those, just like high school athletes, many of those won't play in college. Some of these kids won't get the opportunity to play in high school, and so it makes it really special, I think.
Yes, sir.
You also get to host the district tournament next week, so are you going to have to get an IV for Jason?
Yeah, I think if I give him that or a few free McDoubles or something like that to hold him over, I think he'll be all right.
Oh, those McDoubles, he may have to have Roto-Rooter clean out the arteries, though.
I know that's a shout out to our good sponsor, Mr. McGuire, man. I got to help him out as well too.
Well, I know Brett keeps him busy with the concession stand, so
Oh yes, we they like us, so we're on a text now basis now, so we can just text them and he has our order ready.
Wow, that's pretty special. Get your Mickey D's that way. Let's talk about your program, Coach. A strong finish, and you had a great week. The team that was unbeatable through the regular season until you played them, that was the Blackman Blaze, and you got a win at home. That was a quality win for your program.
Yes, sir, man. Anytime that you can go 4 quarters with a team like Blackman, man, that's a win in both ways. Our guys, our guys who lead the team, and our seniors and our top juniors, man, they're at a point to where they're wanting, to go at Blackman. They're like, hey, we should be just like them. We should be in those same conversations. The guys came in, we watched film, and we went with the game plan of saying, hey, it's about heart. We're just going to go out there. We're not going to say, let's take away this person. We're just going to play 5v5 and Rockville basketball, and we got away with a victory.
Well, in that game, you had both Newton and France in double figures. But here's what's interesting. Every time, if you look at a team scores, look at your scores, for instance. You're scoring in the 60s and 70s until you play Blackman. And so
exactly.
It's they offer a different challenge. What is it like to be on the side of that, to try to get a win in what can be kind of a grueling game? And I know your guys are like horses that can't be bridled, and you have to do a little bit of that in that kind of game.
That, and then you basically got to tell your guys, you hate to put this pressure on teenagers, but you have to almost tell them you got to play perfect basketball against Blackman. You can't go and turn the ball over. You can't go out here and try to work on moves that you did in your driveway at home. You got to go out there and play perfect basketball, and we did that. We basically said, hey, we know that we can go up and down the court with any team, but with Blackman, if you don't make shots and they get a lead, they're going to sit on that basketball and play smart. And so we kind of tried to beat them to their game a little bit. Where they missed shots, we took our time and made some shots, and then we got a good lead in the fourth quarter. We played a style of basketball that we haven't played this year, and we handled it very well. We worked the clock a little bit. We wanted them to come out there and put some pressure on us, and then we got some little easy layups. Caleb Lewis came in and hit 3 big threes in the second half that gave us a spark as well.
Yeah, Caleb had 9, so I guess he had 3 threes. You said, right?
Yes, sir. In the third quarter, he came and hit three big ones, and he was in foul trouble as well.
Well, that was a huge win, and you really had to have almost a perfect finish to get to where you are in the 2 seed. You're going to play Siegel in the tournament, and that was another big win for your team, 76-67. And boy, Ty Newton couldn't miss that night, it seems.
Yes. It's one of those deals where we, like you said, we had to get going, and we're getting hot at the right time, and we just playing good Rockville basketball right now. Ty Newton tells us in practice every day, man. He said, "Hey, I'm not ready to be done," even though he loves baseball and baseball season is here. But he believes in his teammates. Same with Malachi Long and Elijah. They're ready to play, and we're getting hot at the right time. I just hope it ain't a fluke, and this really means something. But we're ready. We're locked in and ready to go.
Well, let's see. Ty had 25 in the win over Siegel, but you also had 3 more in double figures with Jaden Evans with 18. Long had 13, and Caleb Lewis with 11. I would think that if you could have, 4 players in double figures, you're going to win a lot of games.
Here's the thing about us, man. We play a style of ball to where any given night we're not asking for, 1 up 2 people to, hey, I need 20 points from you. Last night, man, we held our starters out the fourth quarter. I wanted to get that experience for our underclassmen who put in the work every day to go up against those first 6 guys, and and I wanted our starters to be able to cheer them on. But at the same time, not get out there and get that injury, because, we wanted to go ahead and try to take care of Riverdale early, if we could. We don't look past any team, but the momentum that we're on right now, we knew that we had a chance of winning that game. But to be able to get, balanced scoring like that, it's great for the locker room as well. Our locker room, no one's coming in with their head down saying, hey, I didn't get my 25 points, I didn't get my 30 points. We won't have a 1,000-point score, but we celebrate other achievements. We celebrate, in the school history this year, us winning 6 district games since the school been open. We've been either at 500 or we was at the bottom of the district. So we celebrate those type of achievements. We celebrate, Braylon leading the area right now with 19 charges taken. Amari Dewberry and Elijah Friends leading the area in steals. So that's the stuff that we celebrate, and it's great for our locker room going forward.
We're talking with Wendell Ingram, the head coach of the Rockville Rockets. So you finished the regular season with Siegel, and then Blackman, and last night with Riverdale, and you can't really sleep on anybody in this district, and
no,
I think you just kind of alluded to that. And now that you've played the regular season, that was just for seeding. Anything can happen. We've seen anything happen. Just a few years ago, Blackman finished dead last in the district and made it to the Murphy Center.
Yeah, and that's what I echoed to our locker room when we went into a little funk a little bit. Right after the Eagleville game, our guys was kind of down. They know that we try to pride ourselves on rivalry games. But, I kind of told them, and I actually talked to a parent as well. I was like, man, I don't know if you remember, but, Blackman was in the same situation, and they got hot at the right time. And they, like you said, they played their way up into the Murphy Center. Right now, we're just trying to say, hey, 3 things. We want to stay with our hot streak going right now, and stay healthy and stay away from that flu bug that's flying around, because, any little minor setback can hurt you.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to stay focused. We got a little time off right now. We don't play again Thursday night at 7:30, and we're going to use that time for guys to rehab. We got a good coaching staff that does a lot of stuff with our bodies, and to where we can be able to run 4 quarters, as fast as we can, and be able to play all of our guys like we've been doing all season. So
yeah.
We're focused. We're ready to go, man. It's gonna be fun at Rockville. It's good for our school to be able to host a district, get the people out in the community to come out and look that's some good basketball, and I think we're going to play opposite from the other region, other side, and to where they're going to probably be, watching and see who they could possibly play as well.
Well, I'm sure you'll sneak over to Lebanon, too, at a time or two.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get on 840 and just see if they still got the outlet mall over there. I don't think they do, but I just go to Lebanon High School while I'm over there.
Yeah. There's a good Mexican restaurant somewhere around there, I think, of what I've heard. So,
okay, I might to check it out.
Yeah. But Wendell, appreciate it. I know you've got a busy week. It takes a lot of people and to do this, and I know you and Perry have a lot to do, not only with your program, but when you host tournaments and things like that. So I know you all will do a great job, and looking forward to being out at the Rock here this next week.
Oh, yes. We're definitely going to be, welcoming you guys, man. I'm going to try to make sure I feed you well, and the hospitality will definitely be there. I make sure that whatever your favorite entree is, I have it for you, man. You let me know.
Well, just only one request: keep Mr. Luker out of the kitchen.
Oh, I will. I think he's ready for the beach here pretty soon with fishing trip.
Oh, I bet. Wendell, appreciate it. Congrats on the second place finish in the district, and good things are ahead for the Rockets. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much.
That's Wendell Ingram, the head coach of the Rockville Rockets, on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Little Caesars Pizza, with 4 Murfreesboro locations: Memorial Boulevard, Warrior Drive, South Rutherford Boulevard, and Old Fort Parkway. Get hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars.
At Turner Security, we bring cutting-edge protection with live video monitoring, access control entry, advanced camera systems, and intermedia IP phones, all designed to keep your business safe and connected. From small businesses to large enterprises, our expert team ensures seamless integration and around-the-clock monitoring, because security isn't just a service, it's our mission. Turner Security, powered by TechCore.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Rick's Barbecue, serving up the best smoked barbecue, ribs, and many local favorites on Warrior Drive. Locally operated by Anne Marie Brents and the Lanning family. I'm Danny Brewer. Welcome back. Now we're joined by Siegel boys basketball coach Matt Rigsby. Coach Rigsby, how are you this morning?
I'm fine. Good morning, Danny. How are you, sir?
Good. You know, I say that, it seems like I say this every week, but man, it's a fantastic time of year, is it not? I mean, I know the district season came to a close last night, which we'll talk about in a minute, but we got hopefully spring is on the way. We hope. I don't know. You think the groundhog was right? He said 6 more weeks of winter.
Groundhog, he might get it right. He might get it wrong. Who knows? What I do know is I'm a baseball nerd, so it's almost baseball season.
There you go. Yeah, and you're right about that, because the thing about spring training, pitchers already reported for the major leagues.
Pitchers and catchers, yep.
Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, it's time to get that stuff on. So okay, well, let's talk a little bit about Siegel basketball, because that's what we're here for. The week that was. Tell me a little bit about what happened this week in Siegel Stars basketball world.
We had Warren County Tuesday for senior night, and then got a big win. They are a solid team. They had already secured their district title, regular season title. Got to honor our seniors, Matthew Rice and Carter Webb. Great night, great crowd. And then on the road last night, took a hit at Blackman to end up the regular season.
Okay, so where did y'all finish? Did y'all finish second in the district?
We ended up third. We ended up third. We could, going into last night, if we handled our own business and beat Blackman, that would have secured us the 3 spot. If not, we needed Rockville to beat Riverdale, which that did happen. So that kept us out of the 4-5 playing game. So we finished third.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so when we talk about the seniors, let's talk about them for just a minute. Carter Webb, that kid has been something for Siegel Stars basketball.
I made the comment to my wife that night. I had a team when I was at Cannon County, 2015. I had 7 seniors. We won 28 games that year, made it to the sub-state, game away from the state tournament, whatever. Phenomenal group of kids, still love them to this day, still speak to a lot of them. But I made the comment to my wife that night, this has got to be my favorite senior class. And coaches can tell you they don't have favorites. They've got favorites. They're lying. This is my favorite senior class, and to a T, I'll tell you why. And there's just 2 of them. But Carter Webb, best basketball player I've ever coached. Matthew Rice, the best personality of a young man I've ever coached. So, I can't talk enough about Matthew Rice and Carter Webb and what they've done for 4 years of Siegel High School basketball program. And the future's going to be bright for both of them. I can guarantee you that.
So, Webb, I want to kind of focus on him a little bit more. I think he was District Player of the Year the last 2 years.
Correct.
So when you talk about the weight that carries, it's hard to understand that gravity. But when you've got a target on your back, and so talk about how he's handled that during his senior year.
He gets everybody's best. He gets everybody's best defender. He gets everybody's best defensive looks differently thrown at him. They'll run and jump him to get the ball out of his hands at the timeline. They'll trap him off ball screens or dribble handoffs. But he relishes in that. Bring it on. I'm still going to play. I'm still going to play my game. I'm still going to make sure my teammates are involved. And he's a 3-level scorer. He is fun fact about him. He is now 98 points away from Siegel's all-time leading scorer.
Wow.
Career-wise, yes. Beyond impressive.
Who is Siegel's all-time leading scorer?
No surprise, Jimmy Oden.
Oh, yeah. That's from way back, from way back. Because that's the thing about Siegel basketball. For those who don't understand, it's got a very decorated past. Because, when Chris Harris was there way back when the Siegel Stars first came to being, man, they had outstanding. I think they maybe went to the state tournament like 3 out of the first 4 years of school was open or something like that.
It was incredible.
Yeah, incredible. And then there's been some other pretty good. I know the 3,000-point scorers that there was there a couple years ago when you were on staff and everything like that. So there's been lots and lots of good basketball players come through there.
Correct. And, I misspoke, Danny. 98 was going into last night. I've not seen the scoring from last night. Now, he didn't have a ton last night, but I would have to add that to his 98. So he's closer than 98, to be honest with you.
So if he can have a couple of good games and y'all can do the things that you want to do, he can have a legitimate shot at getting this.
We're going to need a deeper run, let's be honest. But he had 29 at Rockville the other night. So he could have back-to-back 29 games. And boom, that's a big chunk.
Oh yeah, because you're talking 60 points right there.
Correct.
And if he had, what did he have last night? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, like I said, I can't add to that 98 total yet because I've not seen the reports back and of what he did have last night.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about last night. I know it was at Blackman, and it was maybe not the way you wanted it to wind up necessarily, but going into the tournament. Did that prepare you at all with going to – because Blackman is top dog in the district.
100%, and everybody knew that going in. And so nothing but absolute respect to them. Talented, well-coached, of course. And we played well for a half. We were down 4 at the half. And then we got cold, and they got on fire in the third quarter. And, that 4, it ballooned quickly. And it got out of hand real quick. And credit them for hitting shots. Again, I'm not seeing the reports yet to see what they shot from the field, but I know it was fantastic. It had to be. But we got kind of out of sorts defensively. We weren't doing the things we were doing in the first half, and we lost some shooters. Braden Flowers, he's one of the best shooters in the county, in the mid-state. I don't know. He's just a knockdown kid. And we lost him early in the third quarter, and he got going. There's things that we could do to knock that point differential down defensively. I know that for sure if we're fortunate enough to get another time to play them.
Well, and if things go the way I think they will, I think you maybe have another shot at them. But you were missing one of your key pieces last night. So talk a little bit about, I think Lyles was out last night?
Yeah, Dorian Lyles is out, and with the concussion, which is obviously something you don't treat lightly. We want that young man healthy, and so he got a concussion at Rockville last Friday. So we're talking about 8 days ago. Middle of the second quarter, just a basketball play. It was nothing malicious about it. He just gets pushed in the back, bangs into another kid's knee, then hits the floor, concussion. There you go, middle of the second quarter. So we've been without him for a week now. Second half of the Rockville game, and then the Warren County game, and then last night. So, but hopefully we can get him back healthy. Taking our time with him, of course. Again, concussions aren't something you rush by no means.
Right, and what class is he?
He's a junior.
He's a junior. And he's been lighting it up pretty good, hasn't he?
He has. District play this year, he's led us in scoring, if I'm not mistaken. He's had a couple 20-point district games. And so, yeah, he's a key piece. We got to get back on the floor, for sure, of course.
So, Coach, you're a veteran. You know how this works. We're going to talk a little bit about horse racing in relationship to what we got going on here. Today is the Risen Star Stakes at Fairgrounds. Big Kentucky Derby prep. There's a horse in there trained by Wayne Catalano, Built. All right, he's Built, and he's been built for speed because he's 4 starts, 2 wins, a second and a third, so he's been in the money every time. Is your team built for the postseason? Because there are certain teams that are built for the postseason and certain teams are not. You think you're built for the postseason?
When we get Lyles back, I could answer your question and say yes. Because Lyles and Webb, you can't be successful in the postseason without solid guard play. So, give me Dorian Lyles, give me my team full strength with Lyles back on the floor. Yeah, we're built for postseason. We just still struggle with the inconsistency, especially shooting the basketball. We go to Rockville last week and shoot 3 of 21 from 3. Prior to that, we hit 7 against Oakland. And then piggyback that 3 of 21 against Rockville against Warren County Tuesday, and we hit 9. It's nerve-wracking. It's very, our inconsistency is something that we've really tried to focus on, and we're just still not there yet, to be honest with you, going into the postseason.
Well, Coach, I think you're 100% accurate when you say guard play is the key, because that is the key, because you got to be able to handle the ball, especially at any level, but especially at the high school level. If you have good guard play, then you can pretty much hang with anybody.
Absolutely, and we focus a lot on Lyles, as we should. He's a key piece, but Kel Martin, Damon Goring, they've stepped up and helped tremendously, and they've played solid for the majority of the time. And you're talking about a freshman, first year varsity experience. You're talking about a junior who didn't see much floor time last year, who's just now truly getting his taste of varsity experience also. But they've handled themselves well, and injuries happen. Lyles goes down. Those two definitely come to mind who have stepped up.
So when you talk about just 2 seniors, I mean, I know maybe it's not always what you want going into the postseason. Is we don't have a veteran squad, but maybe that's good news for Siegel that you've got a younger squad.
Oh, absolutely. And again, Messiah Powell, I throw him in there, a sophomore who's starting to get some valuable minutes. And so, going forward, we've still got pieces. Losing Webb and losing Rice, they're going to hurt. There's no doubt about it. But, everybody has turnover. Everybody graduates guys, but no, the future's still bright for sure.
I think that's kind of the beauty of high school basketball is there's always it's turnover. I mean, it's bad news, good news, right?
Yeah, I mean, you take a Lawson Lee who didn't really see the floor much last year, and the summer he had and how he's worked so hard in the weight room and through AAU on the floor this summer, and look what he's doing for us. In my opinion, he's an all-district player right now. If he has a progressive summer the way he did last summer, sky's the limit for that young man and what he can do for us next year.
That's very exciting. Now, when will y'all play next, Coach?
We have the 2-3 seed game. We've got Rockville Thursday night.
And is that at Rockville?
Rockville is hosting, yes, sir.
Okay. So I guess that's kind of a good news, bad news thing is, obviously you go in there. Al McGuire years ago, I've told the story many times, he said the greatest thrill in coaching for him was winning on the road. Mm-hmm. So in essence, even though it's a district tournament game, it's still a road game for you and a home game for them. So a little extra motivation to go in there and knock those guys off on their home floor?
Yeah, sure, but I mean it's tournament time. If my guys aren't motivated by now, there's nothing I can do. Again, this is proverbial. It's a tournament sport, and my guys they are motivated. They want to go in here and try to win this tournament. I guarantee you that. It won't be easy. Rockville's beyond a quality team on their home floor. Don't get me wrong, but my guys, motivation will not be an issue.
Well, it's about finding the right formula. And, Coach, I think that, you were a pretty good chemist back in high school, right?
We'll see. No. Science was not my strong suit, I can tell you that, Danny.
Well, I think you can get your elemental chart out and kind of do some mathematical formulating, and I got confidence in you. Matt Rigsby, head basketball coach, that is. He could probably coach football if he wanted to, too. But head basketball coach at Siegel High School. Appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck.
Danny, thank you, sir.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by the Law Offices of John Day, providing superior legal representation to injury victims and their families. Find out more at johndaylegal.com.
Do you love WGNS Radio? Well, now you can watch it too. WGNS Big GTV brings your favorite radio shows live and on demand. From breaking news and community talk to Rutherford County's top local sports. We've got it all right at your fingertips. Watch anytime, anywhere. WGNS Big GTV, where radio comes to life.
The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
Welcome back to the Coaches Corner. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Bowen's Body Shop. From dings and dents to full body work, trust Jeff and Kyle Bowen to do the job right. They're located on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. I'm Danny Brewer. This is one of those really, really good moments for me because I'm getting to speak with Eagleville head basketball coach Davey McLaren, an icon of the high school basketball world, especially in the Eagleville area. Coach McLaren, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Before we get really deep into this, I want to talk about a mutual friend of ours for a minute. We're going to give him a little airtime. Randy Toombs. I saw Coach Toombs this week and saw him last week. I've seen him the last couple weeks. But, talk a little bit about Randy Toombs. And I know he thinks a lot of you, and you guys have a nice history together. So talk for just a minute about Randy Toombs.
Yeah, Coach Toombs, we go back a few years. He assisted me when I was at Forest High School, and then he took over the reins when I left and moved up into administration at that time. And Coach is just he's a great guy to be around because he's that old school coach. He's no nonsense. He tells it like it is. We don't have enough of those guys around anymore. Challenges the kids, respects hard work, and wants to be a winner at every phase, and he's I just appreciate the old school mentality that he brought when we worked together. And then I was fortunate he came to watch us the other night when we played Rockville, and of course he's that old school coach. Afterwards he gave me his 2 cents worth. He was like, "Congratulations, but," and I loved that part of it. So it was fun getting back in touch with him for that short moment, and good guy.
You're right, because that was one of the things we talked about was because he had told me, man, I went and watched Eagleville play, and they're pretty good. And so let's talk about that. Rolls into the next thing I want to talk about, the Rockville game. So you played at Eagleville, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So when you played at Eagleville, was it still where those satellites of Murfreesboro had their own school? Because I know Eagleville did. Did Rockville have their own school, and did y'all play them when you were playing basketball?
They were a K-8 school when I was in school, so we played them in middle school. But that's as far as we played, and so some of their athletes went to Riverdale, and then we would get some every now and then. So there was a little bit of a rivalry there, but it just wasn't built on like you would get in a high school setting.
Yeah, because I know like years ago, years ago, they did have a school where it was the same as Eagleville, right? Where it was first through high school grades. Am I right about that?
Yes, sir. My father played against Rockville. My grandmother, who was actually a teacher, had taught at Rockville for a couple of years, but then came back to Eagleville because she was from there as well. So, yeah, there was a really good history, just being 10, 15 minutes down the road. It was just a big in-county rivalry.
Yeah, the Battle of Highway 99. So when we think about that, and this is what I'm trying to get at, is you've kind of rekindled that. And, of course, Rockville is a lot bigger school than Eagleville, but you guys went in there and took them down. And I talked to some other people besides Randy Toombs that went to the game and said it was a really exciting game, and you guys really looked good. Talk a little bit about the Rockville game, beating a bigger opponent like that, and the rivalry and all that stuff, and what that means for your program.
Well, for us, it's a win-win. We walk into that game, and we're going to get better just by playing a bigger opponent. And if we don't win the ball game, we still gain something. But if we do win the ball game, then we've, in a lot of people's eyes, overcome something. Overcome size, overcome athleticism, overcome numbers, and whatnot. For them, it's more of a trap game. They actually gain nothing by playing us in the mental side of the game. But this group that I have, we've got a lot of experience on the floor. We've, logged a lot of experience over the last couple of years. So I have some juniors and seniors that have been in big ball games. I've taken them all over the state in the summer at camps. We didn't play any small schools all summer long, so they felt like they belonged on the floor. I thought they looked like they belonged on the floor, and this group I've got, they're just highly competitive. They work well as a unit. Last 6 games, we've been averaging somewhere around 25 assists a game. So they share the ball. We've got, multiple guys that can score double digits. And we've got, multiple guys that are willing to give up the good shot for the great shot. So going into that ball game, we knew that the athleticism was going to be challenging, but it wasn't something that stayed in the back of our mind. We just knew we were going to have to make it a 5-on-5 game, and we would be okay.
Coach, would you like to play other Rutherford County schools? Or if there were like some kind of like Christmas tournament or something like that, would you welcome those opportunities? I don't know if those schools want to play you, but would you like to do that?
Well, I think this is a year that Eagleville can go out there and make a competitive run at it. We're not that caliber where we're going to be at that level every year. You would like to think you could sustain that level of play, and you want to go out and play those teams when they gain something out of it as much as you do. In single A, there's peaks and valleys, so there's going to be a time where hopefully, I hope not, but we may not be able to compete at that level with those bigger schools. But these guys want to play everybody just for the competition, and they like to prove to everybody in the county that they belong, and in the talk of being one of the better teams in the county. So there's years when we would gladly welcome to play anybody, and there's years where people wouldn't want to play us because they probably wouldn't gain anything out of it.
Coach, when we talk about what you did this summer, obviously you've had a really, really good season to this point. You think that this is kind of a little bit of come to fruition as far as what you did during the summer, all the hard work, And now, I mean, you've got a pretty dadgum good record, I do believe.
Yeah, I mean, I think we played every Williamson County team this summer. We went to out west and played at, we played Whitehaven, who's in the top in 4A this summer at free camp. We played, a lot of those West Tennessee teams, and then we went out to the BCAT and we played, private and we played Pope this year. We played BGA. We have really run the gauntlet in the summer. Of course, you don't get any trophies in the summer, so summer was great. We left feeling really good about ourselves. Then we get into the season, and we beefed up our schedule. We play, I think, 4A schools and some private schools and 3A and 2A schools, and really beefed it up as much as we can, and we finished with an outstanding record, 22-2, and feeling good about ourselves. And now here we are at 0-0 again, and we feel pretty confident with this district because our district is uncharacteristically low this year. They're just not very good, and that's just single A. I mean, that's just the definition of peaks and valleys. But our region is extremely challenging with Santa Fe and Richland, who are both top 10 teams in the state, and then us. And one of those 3 top 10 teams in the state is going home in the region semis. And so, we're back to 0-0. We're back to, trying to figure out, our game plan and trying not to be complacent with what we've done, but, stay hungry and keep looking forward and keep working for our goal.
Where is district tournament going to be played at this year?
Yes, sir. It's going to be played at Huntland this year. We don't have the times yet. We know that the girls will be playing on Tuesday and Thursday, and the boys will be playing on Wednesday, Friday. So semis and championship, we only have 4 teams in our district, so it's only 2 nights for the girls, 2 nights for the boys. We'll have the times when we meet Monday morning and get those brackets out. But the district is at Huntland, and then the region tournament this year will be at Moore County.
Okay. And then I guess because you only have a 4-team district, that means all 4 teams are going to the region no matter what, correct?
That is correct.
So when you think about what you've done, which has been fantastic in the regular season, do you think that you've got a group that understands that you just mentioned you're 0-0 now?
Yeah, I do. Last year we felt like we gave away an opportunity to make it to the state. We had a lead, we lost the lead, then lost in overtime, and the team that beat us, who we had a comfortable lead on, and our inexperience just kind of showed last year, and we just didn't rise to the occasion. They went on and finished second in the state, and we felt like that would have been us had we just finished. And so I think that is something that lingers in the back of their mind, that keeps them, hungry. We talk about, our motto right now is everything we want is on the other side of hard. So it's hard to get there. It's hard to win those games, and we've been handling hard pretty good all year. We've been playing most of the games to our potential, and, it's hard to play to our potential when we play teams that are not there. And, to stay focused and to keep our eyes on one game at a time and just being the best team on the floor that night. I'm proud of this group because they've matured in that moment.
Well, Coach, I think it's hard to win 20 more games than you lose, and it's hard to find a coach as good as you because I've heard and I know you're doing a fantastic job. We certainly appreciate your time this morning, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward.
We thank you so much at Eagleville for y'all covering us. Come out and hopefully cover us, and we'll show you some good basketball.
That sounds great. Coach Davey McLaren with Eagleville. We'll be back in a few moments with Siegel head basketball coach Matt Rigsby. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dan France Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete.
Do you love WGNS Radio? Well, now you can watch it too. WGNS Big GTV brings your favorite radio shows live and on demand. From breaking news and community talk to Rutherford County's top local sports, we've got it all right at your fingertips. Watch anytime, anywhere. WGNS Big G TV, where radio comes to life.
It's time to talk MTCS sports. It's Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
We're joined by Middle Tennessee Christian School coaches to talk about their most recent games and their upcoming opponents. It's time to talk orange and white on MTCS Cougar Corner.
Danny Brewer here on the Cougar Corner. You know, we've got something really, really special this morning that we're going to do. We're going to talk with Middle Tennessee Christian School cheer coach Brittany McCollum. Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. Coming off the high of getting back from nationals a few days ago.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that here in just a moment. But the first thing I want to mention is, you know, I'm no expert on cheerleading, but my daughter was a cheerleader. So I understand, you know, people think, when they think athletes, they think, oh, basketball player, football player, baseball player, you know, softball player, volleyball player, whatever. But cheerleaders are extremely good athletes as well. Agree with that statement?
Oh, 100%. It's definitely something that I feel like, which I tell my girls all the time, that, you know, we're the sport that's not quote unquote technically a sport, but we have tried to be cheapened in our athleticism throughout decades. But it doesn't negate all the hard work and the tenacity and perseverance and just the grittiness that they actually endure in their day-to-day practices or competitions.
Yeah, because it is hard work, you know. I mean, I understand that from a firsthand experience of seeing, you know, what my daughter went through. She cheered at Smyrna High School and everything, so they weren't at the level that you folks are, because we're going to talk about this. I think, so Middle Tennessee Christian School national champions. That's an accurate statement. That's a very true statement, right?
Yes. As of 4 days ago, yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about because, you know, all this is a work in progress. You don't just go to this competition and do your routines and, hey, you're national champs. There's lots and lots of hard work, tireless hours of effort that goes into something like this. So tell me a little bit about the Middle Tennessee Christian School cheerleading success story.
Yeah, so I'm actually an MTCS alum, and so that's why one reason I came back and found my way back to MTCS. Middle Tennessee Christian School is just a very, very special school to me and my family, and I knew when I had children, I actually have 2 boys, so nobody that's will ever benefit or be a part of the cheer program. But I knew that I wanted them to be a part of the community that Middle Tennessee Christian School was. And so once they reached school age, I have coached around the state and actually other states into Alabama and stuff like that. I started coaching when I was in college. So I've been coaching about 18 years now, different high school, different programs. And once my kids found their way back to Middle Tennessee Christian School, the athletic director, Jason, reached out and he was just like, we hear you're back. We would love to explore some options with you getting involved in cheer. And at the time, which was 5 years ago, at the time, there was only 9 cheerleaders. They didn't compete. There wasn't much of a skill set that was there. And he bought in. The administration's been great. And for 5 years, these girls have put in, just extremely amounts of developmental training, endurance training. My girls on the average practice day will run around 3 miles of practice. they just, between that and running their routine over and over, and the skills and the weightlifting and the weight training that goes into all of it, that the average person probably doesn't see in that 3-minute routine that they put on the floor. So it's been a 5-year work in progress. We started with just a high school team competing. I had 22 that first year, girls that didn't know the difference between lines and spaces on the mat. They'd never competed, to just building and grinding and going 6 to 7 days a week, 10 months a year, and each year getting better and buying into the process more. The families and the community have been so supportive to that. We added a middle school competition team, and then 2 years ago we brought it on down to the elementary. Since we are a K through 12 school, why not feed the kids that are in your hallways to help get them ready for that next level as soon as they can? And it's been a beautiful thing to be a part of.
Competition cheer is no joke. And if for those who have never been to one of those competitions, you're 100% right as far as the weightlifting and the time that goes into it, because when you think about the tumbling skills and all that, it's really pretty awesome to watch.
Oh, 100%. I mean, yes, they have to train and condition just like any other athlete would do. Jason Spray, our strength and conditioning coach at MTCS, I mean, he is time and time again floored by not only the strength and skill that these cheerleaders put into the weight room, but just their dedication and perseverance to like that tenacity that most people don't see happen from cheerleaders. So we're real proud of them.
So let's talk a little bit about this national championship team. I think you've got a good mix of all classes. So, and I think I see that there's 7 seniors on the squad. Is that correct?
Yes, 7 seniors. They're a real special group. They actually started in our rec program in first grade. Most of them, out of the 7, 6 of them have cheered at Middle Tennessee Christian School since first grade. So they're a real tight-knit group.
So when we talk about, I want to kind of rewind for just a minute. You told me that you were a graduate of Middle Tennessee Christian. What year did you graduate from Middle Tennessee Christian School?
2006.
2006. Okay, so you've seen some transformations there at that school on campus that are pretty incredible. I mean, when you think about the facilities at Middle Tennessee Christian School, it's awesome. I mean, the basketball gym, the baseball and football fields, all that stuff. Talk a little bit about the campus that this has become.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely different from when I was a student there. I mean, I graduated in 2006, and the only sports at the time were basketball, which was housed in the same school as the middle school and high school, sharing one hallway, and the elementary being in one hallway, and the gym set in the middle. We didn't have a football team at the time. We, cheer at that time, like I was always real passionate. I did all-star and competitive cheer too. And we had a coach that's actually, like my high school coach is actually on my coaching staff now. She's still there, still teaching, and I get the privilege of coaching her daughter, who's one of our juniors. And so we competed, never nationally, but we competed, locally in Kentucky-ish area there. But outside of that, our tennis team, we had tennis, but there wasn't many athletic programs. But to watch it grow into what, athletically it has grown into, between the new gym, the new high school, the new football field, our baseball field is, just beautiful. It's something I'm excited about my 2 boys being a part of for years to come. And they are both they have athletic interest, and so they're 5th and 3rd grade, so still very young. But just from where it was in 2006 to where it is in 2024, I can't speak how proud I am of how far the school has come.
So you mentioned something that I want to touch on your staff is your old coach. What kind of that's kind of cool right there when you talk about the full circle of being able to be involved with the coach that coached you.
Yes. It's very, very cool. Our coaching staff is made up of 10 women, 10 women ranging that carries us from 3rd grade through 12th grade, and we all have different roles and different skill sets. But yes, so my coach in high school coached clearly me, but she was also a chemistry teacher. She is still a chemistry teacher, and has come back, and she's on the high school coaching staff with me, and it's beautiful. And then we've actually hired 2 alumni that graduated. They were on one of our first competition teams that I was able to coach. They're MTSU cheerleaders now, but they've been on our staff now for 2 years, as hired alum coaches that work with our elementary kids. And it's a beautiful community to be a part of, that kids want to come back to, that coaches want to stay a part of. And it's a vision that has, that I feel like I'm walking in a dream every day.
Walking in a dream. That's good. That's really, really good. Good stuff. When we talk about what you just said, people wanting to be involved, wanting to come back, I think they call that athletic programs, right?
Yes.
And when you have a program, that's something special. Having a team is good, but having a program is where it's really at. And I want to talk about some of the younger kids you have, because I think there's like 15 freshmen and 9 sophomores. So if my math is right, that's 24 kids that are freshmen and sophomores in your program. That's just that the young kids want to get involved with this. Man, how exciting is that?
Oh, it's so exciting. It's actually one of my assistant coaches who has been, my right hand since day one. And really, she has pushed and challenged me in so many ways. And this program is where it is because of her belief in not only myself, but all of it. And she told me 2 years ago when we were walking out of nationals, she was like, I'm calling it now. The best bet we have to win nationals is when our current freshmen become freshmen. They were 7th graders at the time, and that was our first year doing middle school. They're a talented group of freshmen. We take a lot of pride in the fact that the kids in our program are only trained by us and within our school building. We don't go to outside gyms. We hire coaches and skills coaches to make sure that our kid, which is very unique in the cheer world. I know people don't probably realize that because most other athletic teams clearly are coached by their coaches. But in the cheer world, a lot of times you go to a gym and those coaches are the ones that do more of the skills training and stuff like that. But we actually do all of it in-house. We try to aid in the burnout and we try to aid in the burnout and fuel in the passion side of it, keep our culture very top-notch, keep our culture one that reflects the school values, one that kids want to be a part of. And so they feel seen, they feel valued, and therefore they work hard. And so it's one that we are so excited for years to come because I truly feel like it's not a one-and-done national championship. We've really tried to invest. I mean, I know I personally spend over the summer and fall and spring. I mean, I'm there over 40 hours a week with our 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th graders, just working with them, teaching them the proper ways, teaching them the proper technique on top of the high school girls so that it just builds and builds for years to come.
Being your own feeder program, that's really what lends to success. So where were the Nationals held at this year?
They were in Orlando, Florida at the ESPN Wild World of Sports. I'm sorry.
So being on a stage like that, I mean, just getting to go to it is fantastic and a great experience for the kids and the coaches and everybody like that. But when you go there, when you kind of found out and they announced they national champion Middle Tennessee Christian School, talk about the euphoria.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible, and I'm going to be honest, it has taken me a few days to get here because, I was so proud of these girls, and one thing that makes me the most proud is I am an alumni, and I worked tirelessly. I'm very passionate about our sport, and a white jacket of first place at Nationals was nothing I was even ever given the opportunity to compete at, which is why I did come back to MTCS after several years of getting coaching experience elsewhere and having some success in those ways. I wanted the girls within the halls at Middle Tennessee Christian School to have that opportunity to work towards those goals and to see some of these kids that have poured their life and passion into getting to achieve that was so surreal. But I'll tell you one thing I have learned about myself is that I truly hate losing more than I enjoy winning. So it has been one of those moments where it's like I am so happy and I am so proud, but the emotions and the gut-wrenching of losing was far more fuel-firing than the emotions of winning.
Coach, I think you just defined competitor, because that's one of the things that my oldest son, he's a swim coach at Oakland Middle and Oakland High School, so he's his own feeder program too. So I mean, I 100% get what you're saying. He mentioned one of his swimmers who she swam at state meet last week, and that was what he said about her. He said, the greatest thing about her is she hates losing more than she loves winning. And I told him, that defines a true competitor. A true competitor. So let's roll this. I don't want to kind of spoil the victory here, but when you think about this homegrown championship and what all that means for Middle Tennessee Christian School and Middle Tennessee Christian School athletics, because it's a huge, huge achievement for you folks. But what about what's next? When you think about the bar that you've just established, good news, bad news. Now the expectations are there.
Yes, 100%, and we are well aware of that. But they are prepared. We're prepared to keep building and keep pushing. We're going to start a new team this next year that just keeps them, reaching and driving and striving. Because my ultimate goal for them is if they want the opportunity to move on to the next level, I just want them to reach their full potential in this sport, whatever that looks like. I want to encourage and drive and push, and we are very prepared to keep the ball rolling and to also keep our focus on making sure that their development and their training reaches this expectation every year.
Well, I think the thing about youth sports, and I've said this many times, is it's a training ground for life. And all these things that you're telling me allows me to understand that that's what you're doing. You're preparing kids for life. And success is one of those things that you just want to fuel more success. And it sounds like that's your mentality.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I will say, it's been so inspirational in the fact that these athletes, too, this season, and I know that this is not necessarily a spiritual conversation, but, they did it, the way they challenged each other on and off the floor, just in calling out Jesus' name for their sake and their strength and their purposes, was just something that was beautiful. Mixed with that athletic talent was something I had personally never been a part of. So that success will keep going for years and years to come, and life lessons will be served in so many different areas outside of this win, whether it would have been a win or a loss.
Well, I think, Coach, that you nailed it. It's spiritual is what it should be, and I think it was. And congratulations to you and Middle Tennessee Christian School national cheer champs. Coach, anything else you want to add?
Thank you. No, I want to thank the community for their support, administration for their belief in all these girls.
Middle Tennessee Christian
I'm just
School.
so proud of them
Training
and
for
their hard work. There's nothing else I can say.
Well, that's Coach Brittany McCollum from Middle Tennessee Christian School. She's the head cheer coach there for the national champion Cougars. Congrats, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All righty. God bless, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Middle Tennessee Christian School. Training for eternity.
The large majority of our kids are involved in athletics or extracurricular activities, one or the other, and most are doing multiple activities.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
And that's a great preparation for life. How many of us in our life are just doing one thing? So a well-rounded student is a huge deal.
Invest in your child's future in a Christ-centered environment with many athletic and extracurricular choices.
Without a doubt, our students have the opportunity to be involved in multiple activities.
To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
Middle Tennessee Christian School. Training for eternity.
People love to see us on the schedule when they have a home game because our fans show up.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
The way we travel is just phenomenal. Our parents and our community are fully engaged in our school. When we compete, we're trying to do it in a way that honors God. We want to win. We also want to do it in a way that pleases Him.
Providing Christian values and academic excellence in a nurturing environment. That's Middle Tennessee Christian School. Invest in the future of your child. Find out more at mtcscougars.org.
It's MTCS Cougar Quarter. Fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
On FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at wgnssports.com.
And John Ding is back with you, wrapping up here, MTCS Cougar Corner. And I want to thank, we've been talking about cheerleading today. It's been a really fun day, and a lot of things going on at MTCS. Want to remind you that we're going to really close for spring sports are coming, and we'll be having them as our guest very, very soon, maybe as early as next week. Who knows? But we are going to be. We want to thank everybody that helps with this show and Prentice Allsup Heating and Air. Dalton Barrett right here with me, and also want to thank Brian, of course, and Danny Brewer. And Brian usually does this close, so here we go. But he's on the phone. I can't help it. And I want to thank all our coaches, and like each and every Saturday. And I want you to be very, very careful out there today, and try to avoid as much rain. Just stay in if you can. It's going to be a really bad day to be out. So anyway, that's all that I've got. And we're going to see you next week here on Cougar Corner here on News Radio WGNS. So long, everybody.